Let's now perhaps speak to the founder of the Institute of Chartered Entrepreneur, Tebogo Khaas, about this one-stop shop for aspiring entrepreneurs. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. This is a new entity that's really being lauded by yourselves as an institution for assisting, well, hoping that it will assist entrepreneurs and promote the development of cooperative banking institutions. What's your reaction to this?
Well, we certainly do welcome signing of this act, and to the extent that I'm not sure if there's an echo on your side or
no, not at all.
To the extent that it shows that the government's heart is at the right place, but the devil is in the detail, in the sense that it is the regulations that are still to be drawn that will determine the efficacy of this type of instrument as government seeks to improve the small business ecosystem. I don't know if we're still on or...
We're definitely still on. Coming from an institution which aims to enhance the credibility and sustainability of entrepreneurs, startups and small businesses, how do you think this entity will help streamline the support services government provides to small and medium-sized businesses?
Yeah, as a certain point, at the end of the day, the devil is in the detail. We still don't see the regulation. The act has been signed, but we do not know the mechanisms and how this new body is going to be constituted and what its corporate plans, if I may use that word, are going to be. But to the extent that there's an awareness throughout time since the inception of the Small Business Department that there needs to be a change on how small business are being treated or small business related matters are being advanced. It is a welcome in that regard. But it is important to notice that the things that I think I heard the minister in one of the interviews earlier today, to the extent that some of the things that have been articulated, like things like bulk buying and all that, that's not a new ideas. Those ideas have been there since the inception of the SME Forum in 2004. We've been articulating for that. But it is not for government to do that. It is the entrepreneurs themselves that need to clap themselves around and be able to take advantage of any discounts that might arise from buying, for an example, or being able to work in clusters to be able to take up bigger contracts. Because if you have remained small businesses, by size and by definition, you may be technically excluded from partaking in bigger opportunities. But if there's an intention to make sure that small businesses in a particular sector, let's say the welding or let's say auto body, are able to clap themselves around and be able to aggregate their procurement needs, be aggregate to their skills to be able to take up the bigger jobs. I mean, in the construction industry, for example, if you're a small business, you cannot take up the likes of the now defunct, I think, Concord Group 5, I can't remember their names now, the Marine Grovers, for as long as you're a small construction company. But if you're able to club it, so you don't have to formalize the relationship, but if it can be a sort of an entity, a special purpose vehicles, targeting clusters to be able to put together your skills, to be able to make sure that you can take up the other assignments that you wouldn't be able to qualify for if you are small.
What are your expectations? I mean, as you speak about how it'll be important to really get a sense of the regulations which are yet to be drawn, what are you expecting to achieve out of this as entrepreneurs in really just assisting with some of the big loopholes that you've just spoken to?
Yes, I obviously don't want to be influenced by the immediate past, but I mean, we know what has happened during the COVID interventions by the Small Business Department, and a lot was left undone that could have been done better. We hope the lessons that have been learned from that to make sure that actually there's more inclusion of entities or individuals that they may otherwise not see eye to eye, but who may have a better vantage on the landscape and be able to impart knowledge, experience, and advice that could be useful to making sure that the government wins. Because remember, if the Small Business Department wins or the minister wins, small businesses win. If small businesses win and succeed, the small business ministry itself or department wins. So it is something that I think the legislators or the officials, the public officials need to take heed of and ensure that they open their ears, open their eyes to opinions and advice that they may otherwise not be exposed to hitherto. And we are hopeful that we've always remained, as the Institute of Chartered Entrepreneurs, we've always extended our unclenched hand. We hope that authorities will reciprocate with an unclenched fist to accept whatever advice that could come from the industry.
Speaking of some of those authorities, I'm going to be speaking in a moment to the Minister of Small Business Development, Stella Ndabeni-Abrams, and who has been vested with powers, of course, tasked with regulating and now classifying micro, small and medium enterprises. How do you think that should work? I mean, do you think that will be beneficial for these businesses to be categorized in that format so that they can access better opportunities?
Yeah, classifying small businesses has always been a bane for governments all over the world. In fact, you would remember during the National Small Business Act, there was definitions of SMEs in different categories defined by revenue. We are more inclined to believe there should be a move away from defining them by way of turnover, because a business that is cyclical in nature, it could be that this year you generate 10 million rands, and therefore you might find yourself no longer defined as a micro, but maybe a medium. And also depending on the industry, if you're in a mining industry, 50 million means nothing because you can't even sink a shaft with 50 million rands. But to rather focus more on the word startup, because as a startup, you envision that you're going to grow at a small base, but you don't know, it could be that you might grow faster, you might take time to grow. But we've seen that with the world moving towards providing support for startups that could potentially grow into big companies such as Apple itself or even Tesla and many others. It is always important to ensure that what could be small today may not their needs may change. They may not be small the following year, and therefore the definitions itself may be very exclusionary. But if you use a startup definition, it can be far wide and encompassing. But at the heart of it all is to ensure that there's professionalizing of the entrepreneurship the network itself.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Founder of the Institute of Chartered Entrepreneur, Tebogo Khaas, speaking to us there as we give you some reaction on the small business community welcoming the signing into law of the National Small Enterprises Bill by President Cyril Ramaphosa, seeking, of course, to streamline support services that government provides to small and medium-sized businesses in the country.